Back in San Francisco, a budding star from another generation had been carving a niche for himself. Steve Spurrier had taken over for an injured John Brodie and led his team to the brink of the playoffs. Before last Saturday's game with Minnesota, not only the 49ers, but the Falcons and Rams also had a chance to be the Western Division representative in the playoffs. The 49ers alone among these three teams could control their own destiny. And last week, under the misty skies of Candlestick Park, they did it in dramatic fashion. The very first play from scrimmage served notice of what kind of day it was to be for Steve Spurrier and the 49ers. Carl Eller came up empty despite a great defensive play, but Minnesota didn't have to wait long to get the ball. Vic Washington's fumble was recovered by Jeff Seaman. Luckily for San Francisco, this turnover didn't hurt, as Minnesota's Fred Cox soon missed a field goal attempt from the 33. But this was to be a day of turnovers for the home team. Ken Willard's fumble and the recovery and long return by number 40, Charlie West, gave the Vikings the ball on their opponent's 16-yard line. Three plays later, Fran Tarkenton speared Ed Marinaro over the middle, and the rookie running back took it in for his first touchdown as a pro. Minnesota 7, San Francisco nothing. On the following kickoff, Vic Washington atoned for his earlier fumble with a return of 56 yards to the Viking 41. But the aging Purple Gang rose up to stop any further advance by San Francisco. San Francisco settled for a Bruce Gossett field goal and a 7-3 score at the end of the first quarter. At the start of the second quarter, Minnesota got a great run back of its own when Clint Jones burned 48 yards. Here, Fran Tarkenton went for all the marbles to John Gilliam and should have gotten it. So Tarkenton went the other way to John Henderson, but a great defensive play by number 38, Mike Simpson, saved a touchdown for San Francisco. But as we said, this was to be a day of turnovers for the 49ers, and on the very next play, Spurrier's pass was deflected by Carl Gersbach and intercepted by Charlie West. No score resulted from that turnover, but late in the quarter, still another turnover squelched the boys from the Bay again. A pass to Gene Washington picked up 35 yards, by far the biggest gain of this mistake-ridden first half, discounting kickoff returns. Then, with excellent field position for the first time today, Spurrier passed right into the hands of Paul Krause on the 17-yard line. Minnesota soon gave the ball back with a disastrous error of their own when Mike Eischeid went back to punt. This Minnesota mistake on the 25 led to Bruce Gossett's second field goal of the first half and San Francisco's 6th point. The 49ers only trailed by 1 at the half, but had turned the ball over 4 times, and at this point, the division title seemed as misty as Northern California's weather. At the start of the second half, the 49ers were still cautious of Clint Jones' return threat, but Gossett's squib to Bill Brown was returned to good field position on the Viking 36. After reaching midfield, Tarkenton faced a third down, and by out-scrambling Dave Wilcox, number 64, he got the first down. A penalty further moved the ball to the 10, but from there, Wilcox defused Tarkenton's bullet. It was the third time Minnesota had been in close, yet came away with no points, and these failures were keeping the 49ers in the game. On Minnesota's next possession, they would get close again, as a good play fake and a perfect pass freed Brown for 31 yards. But after another pass gained 9 3/4 yards, the 49ers stiffened. Brown lost 4 on a run, then Tarkenton lost 14 more. Though the Vikings had had a second and inches on the 49er 18, they had to settle for a Fred Cox field goal and led 10-6. Meanwhile, the 49ers were having even less success. Spurrier's pass, intended for Gene Washington and intercepted by Jeff Seaman, was their 5th turnover of the game. On the 49ers sideline, there were rumblings of Brodie. Spurrier would not have won a popularity contest with his showing today, and to make matters worse, Tarkenton turned Spurrier's last turnover into a touchdown with a perfect pass to John Gilliam. Gilliam had dropped this same pass earlier in the game, but he held on this time, and with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, Minnesota led by 11. Trailing now 17-6, it was time to bring back Brodie. Brodie had been injured earlier in the year, but for the past 3 weeks he has been ready to go. However, Spurrier's strong performance until today had kept Brodie bench-bound. Now, in this do-or-die situation for San Francisco, head coach Dick Nolan decided it was time for Brodie to reappear. On the last play of the third quarter, Brodie began to move the 49ers. On the first of the fourth quarter, Ted Qualick made his first reception of the game and carried to Minnesota's 11-yard line. On first down, Brodie hit John Eisenbarger on a play designed for Eisenbarger to then pass downfield. But forced to make a leaping catch, he had to run. On second down, Jim Marshall's great play on Vic Washington cost the 49ers 5 yards. Forced to throw on 3rd and 11, Brodie forced his pass to Qualick, and Paul Krause intercepted his second theft and San Francisco's 6th turnover. Brodie's bold thrust perhaps breathed life back into the 49ers, and they stopped the Vikings to give Brodie another shot. But again, Brodie misfired, and Seaman intercepted his second interception and San Francisco's 7th turnover. Now, smelling victory, the Vikings tried the old Tarkenton to Marinaro to Gilliam to Tarkenton to Marinaro play, but it failed to gain. Still, the Vikings were ready to deal the death blow to San Francisco's failing playoff hopes when Mike Eischeid's punt was down by Terry Brown on the 1-foot line. With 9 minutes left, the 49ers were 99 2/3 yards away and still trailing by 11. Brodie's only choice was to throw, and a pressure pass to Eisenbarger got some operating room. Then from the 15, Brodie stepped up into the pocket and hit Gene Washington, who had a step on Charlie West. The play gained 53 yards, and 3 plays later, Washington outfought Bob Bryant for the touchdown. Brodie had moved the 49ers over 99 yards in 2.5 minutes, but the celebration was kept to a minimum, for San Francisco still trailed by 4 with just over 6 minutes to play. The offensive adrenaline splashed onto the 49er defense, and they sacked Tarkenton for the 4th time in the game. San Francisco's defense leads the NFL in sacks, and they had gotten one when they needed it most. But on 4th down and 12, the 49ers saw an incredible break go against them. On the punt play, San Francisco was called for holding, bringing an automatic first down for Minnesota. The Vikings used this break well, grinding almost 5 minutes off the clock. When the 49ers offense finally got the ball, only 90 seconds remained, and they were 66 yards away, needing a touchdown, as a field goal would leave them 1 point shy of the playoffs. The 49ers got a break when Seaman interfered with Ted Qualick to move the ball to the Viking 26. Again, San Francisco tried the Eisenbarger option play, and though it got Larry Schreiber momentarily open, Paul Krause's great play saved the touchdown. On 3rd down, Brodie hit Vic Washington, who carried to the 3, but the 49ers had no timeouts left, so with 40 seconds left, Brodie would have to pass San Francisco into the playoffs. 1st down, Jim Marshall swatted away a Brodie pass. 2nd down, Marshall deflected away a Brodie pass. 3rd down and 30 seconds away from elimination, Brodie rolled out and directed traffic. Just 25 seconds remained when Brodie hit Dick Witcher and sent San Francisco into the playoffs. Minnesota would get the ball once more, but they could not score. John Brodie had risen from the depths of the bench to lead San Francisco into the playoffs for the third straight season. It was a remarkable turnaround for Brodie. At 37, he does not have many seasons left. And with 27-year-old Steve Spurrier playing so well, this indeed could have been Brodie's last year. But with an entire season riding on the 49ers' last possession of the year, John Brodie had saved it. The 20-17 victory over Minnesota marked the third straight season that San Francisco won their division title in the last regular season game. They have yet to advance to the Super Bowl, but riding a reborn John Brodie, they may make it yet.